Hey all, I'm Kara Perez, founder of Bravely Go, and we have a serious ad problem. You probably expect some ads in your life, right? You probably expect ads when you're watching cable TV, you might expect ads on the radio, but we now have ads in every area of our lives. There are ads at the gas station, there are ads when you're in the back of a ride share. I mean, there are even ads in the night sky. I mean, literally when you pause a TV show on Hulu, an ad pops up. It's estimated that the average American sees about 5,000 ads a day, and that number is only growing. This is a huge problem, mostly because ads, or advertising, is another way of saying emotional manipulation. Ads prey on our emotions. They want us to feel happy or sad or inadequate. They evoke this emotional response and then try to tell you that their product is the solution. Some ads might be educational, some ads might be inspirational, but fundamentally they're all doing the same thing. Here's what your life could like. It doesn't look that way now, right? But if you buy our product, it will look this way. Some ads might be educational, some ads might be inspirational, some ads might even be funny, but fundamentally they're all saying the same thing. Hey, your life kinda sucks in this specific way. You don't have this thing or this feeling. But if you buy our product, your life could be better. And now that we're living in such an online world, ads are more insidious than ever before. Advertising is designed to capture our attention, to divert our attention from something that we were doing and to place that attention on the ad and thus the product. Then repeated advertising, seeing the same ad or the same brand over and over and over again, that's designed to build familiarity in our brains with this brand, so that the next time you're in Target and you're staring at a wall of 40 different cereals, your brain will default to the one that it's seen most often, that it already has this brand familiarity with. And now that we're living in this online world, I think that ads are more insidious than ever before because companies have started using our own data against us. And we have things now like ad tracking and targeted ads. So now, when we talk about the dangers of advertising, what we're really talking about is attention theft. The more of your attention that companies can command and the more information that they can collect about you, the more opportunity they have to try and sell you something. Now, it's my opinion that this is bad. It's bad for us, it's bad for our money, it's bad for the planet. And all of this advertising is leading to this unsustainable world. And I mean that literally, but I also mean that mentally and emotionally. Hyper-consumerism has taken over the internet, and it's well on its way to taking over the whole world. Ads to buy stuff are really the gateway to hyper-consumerism, but the internet itself is kind of becoming one giant foghorn alert for shopping. I want to mostly focus on social media because that's where I spend a ton of my time, but it's also where most of us are spending a ton of our time. A typical person spends between 2.5 and 3 hours on average per day scrolling on social media. And everywhere you turn on social media, you are being sold something. From the must-have kitchen items to the just perfect holiday decor to the sweatshirt that I'm living in this season. Everything that you see is designed to be sold to you. And hyper-consumerism is driving climate change. Hyper-consumerism is truly at the root of a lot of our climate problems. This Grist article from 2016 highlighted a study that showed up to 60% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from the production and sale of stuff. Stuff like our Halloween costumes, our American Girl dolls, our cars, anything plastic. This is driving the climate crisis. Now, I want to talk about this for a second because a lot of people get really defensive when you point this out, because it basically sounds like if you've ever bought anything, you personally are responsible for killing all of the polar bears. Instead, what we're saying is zoom out for a second and consider the impact. Consider every single step that leads up to create that one thing that you do end up buying. Think of the big picture climate issues: deforestation, melting ice caps, air pollution. And then think to yourself, why? Why are we cutting down all those trees in the Amazon? Well, it's so that we can plant more soy. Why are we planting soy? Because soy is what we feed a lot of cows. And then we turn those cows into beef. And then we sell that beef to McDonald's, who then sells you a hamburger. So while all you did in this chain was buy a hamburger, the chain does in fact exist and comes with huge consequences. It's a macro and it's a micro issue. The obsession that we all have for convenient and constant consumerism fuels things like deforestation in the Amazon. And a lot of our social media and time on the internet is working overtime to normalize hyperconsumption. I made this TikTok video a while back talking about how when we glamorize overstuffed celebrity closets, that normalizes hyperconsumption and shopping as a hobby for us normal people. And this cycle not only continues ecological destruction, but also robs you and me of our very hard-earned money. We're spending it on a bunch of stuff to imitate a bunch of people that we don't know. And I just have to say, as your favorite sustainable money internet friend, every time you drop $300 on a Shein haul, that's $300 that you are not saving or investing for your future self. Like these $200 Amazon hauls full of those must-have items are robbing your future self of your chance to retire, or your chance to buy a house, or your chance to enjoy something that you actually deeply enjoy, like maybe taking a trip to Iceland, as opposed to having, like another plastic bowl in your kitchen? And ads are at the centerpiece of this consumeristic cycle. Now you might be thinking, okay, Gara, you've painted quite the picture here. So like, what can I do, you know? So maybe you opt out of emails from brands, or maybe you unfollow people who do Shein hauls every 3 days on TikTok. But due to the changing nature of how we advertise, opting out, there's only so much we can do with that. I mean, let's take TikTok Shop, which has completely taken over the TikTok app and I have spoken about on this channel before. For those of you who don't know, TikTok Shop, which try saying that 10 times fast, it's kind of hard, is basically you make a video and in the video you are allowed to have a link that you click on as the viewer, they'll click on it and the page to buy that will pop up in app and all of your information will be saved and you can buy it. And TikTok Shop, again, kind of difficult to say, is truly inescapable on your FYP, your For You page. Even if you wanted to curate your TikTok experience and only stay in the following tab, you still might find that you're following someone who uses TikTok Shop. So you can't completely escape this form of advertising. And it's this form of advertising that I think is the most insidious, because tracking our online activities is how a lot of companies make their ads now. Ads follow us around the web. You've probably noticed, you might be on Facebook and you see an ad for a pair of shoes, you click on it, and then you go to, a news website and in their banner ad, it's the same shoe. That is following you. That ad has followed you around the internet. This is called behavioral retargeting, and it's also known as ad remarketing. This strategy enables a company to redisplay a product to you on different websites. So if you look at something on website A, ad remarketing allows that ad to follow you to the next website. Companies do this in hopes that you will be reminded that you did not complete the transaction on website A, but you will now complete the transaction on website B. This is an incredibly successful form of advertising, because instead of like in the old days where you would put a billboard up on a highway and hope that your target customer would drive by eventually, these ads will follow a customer who has already shown interest. Basically, the website where you're shopping implements a little bit of code, which is called a cookie, which is why when you go to a website, usually a little thing pops up that says like, accept all cookies. That's implementing a piece of code into your browser. This cookie allows that website to monitor your browsing habits. They can see what you're looking at. They can see how long you looked at it. They can tell how many times you clicked on it or how many times your mouse hovered over the link, and they can follow you from website to website. This type of ad, for obvious reasons, is so much more dangerous than old school forms of advertising. The amount of data that companies have on us is truly breathtaking. These companies can know that you're a 27-year-old man in Iowa who 2 weeks ago purchased a new cabin filter for his 2015 Honda Accord. They can know when you've liked a page on Facebook. Let's say that this same man has liked a page for F1 racing. And they know that you spent 47 seconds watching a video where a dog was riding a skateboard. These companies, these social media companies, can now take that profile and sell it to advertisers, who then put together ads specifically designed to get a 27-year-old man who's interested in racing and dogs on skateboards to buy specific products. So you might be thinking, damn, this is dystopian AF. and I'm feeling a little bummed, or I'm feeling really angry. And I would like you to follow that anger for a second here, because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this. Instead, I want you to question, why is this happening? What is going on here? And I want you to ask yourself, where does this lead? As of Q3 2023, total consumer debt balances increased to 16.84 trillion, up from 16.11 trillion in Q2 2022. This non-stop onslaught of ads is leading us to spend more money. And it's leading a lot of us to spend money we don't have, which, as I previously mentioned, is robbing from our future selves. Outside of the financial aspect, outside of the environmental aspect, hyper-consumption and non-stop ads is not good for our mental health. Constantly being told by different advertising companies that we are defective in multiple ways, that our hair is too frizzy, our skin isn't clear enough, our shoes aren't as fashionable as they should be. It's like constantly being negged by the entire world, and that's no way to live. It will probably not surprise you to hear that rates of shopping have just been going up and up and up, especially since 2020 and the COVID pandemic. And it will also probably not surprise you to know that the rates of depression and anxiety have also been on the rise over the last several years. And that's because we're being sold a line of bullshit. We are told over and over and over again, literally 5,000 or more times a day, hey, if you buy this thing, you'll finally be happy. If you buy that thing, you'll finally be pretty. If you buy this other thing, you'll finally be smart. But it's a faulty formula. It doesn't actually work. No one item can bring you permanent happiness. So the formula breaks down and you need to go back and repeat, and keep shopping. So how do we escape it? What do we do here? Well, besides getting completely off the internet and also going to live in a cave where you never have to see another billboard again, there are a couple of things that you can and I encourage you to do in order to minimize the amount of ads that you see. First, you can unfollow the hyper consumers and hyper sellers. If someone has 11 Stanley cups and they're on your FYP every 3 months trying to sell you another Stanley cup that they're just so excited about and they can't wait to have, go ahead and click unfollow. Second, you can shop in person. If you're not online, they can't track your data online. I feel like I'm the only millennial in the world who prefers shopping in person, but I like to try things on. I like to really understand what fits my body or what colors work well with my skin tone. And also, by shopping in person, it gives you a really good chance to shop secondhand, which is a fantastic way to decrease the consumerism and to decrease the amount of raw materials that we are yoinking out of the ground every single day to make new stuff. Number 3, try and find offline hobbies. This is something that I've been focusing on a lot in my life because like I mentioned earlier, I spend a ton of time on social media and I spend a ton of time on the internet. I mean, to kind of like pull a Ken here, my job is just internet. And so every day I'm sitting in front of my computer screen and I'm scrolling on my phone for hours and hours and hours. And it's not good for my mental health and it's not good for my eyeballs. So if you follow us on Instagram, you've probably seen that I have joined a tree planting group in my new city, and I have gotten out and regularly volunteered with them, and I've helped them plant over 200 trees actually just in the last couple of months. It gets me outside, it gets me offline, it gets me interacting with real people in my community. I've met a ton of people that I otherwise would never have had the opportunity to meet, and it's really, really fulfilling. So I encourage you to find your version of tree planting. Number 4, nice and easy, you can unsubscribe from brand emails. Some brands send emails every single day. Like, I was getting emails from Uber Eats, which is super weird because I've never even used Uber Eats, every single day. And I was like, cool it, Uber. Like, this is too many damn emails. And number 5, you can subscribe to things to avoid ads. Listen, advertising is actually a problem you can throw a little money at to avoid. Subscribing to YouTube Plus, for example, it's a fantastic way to avoid the ads on YouTube. And it's a fantastic way to help support the creators like me that you like here on YouTube. Ads are often the price that we pay when we are consuming something for free. Like on social media, Instagram, TikTok, they are free to use. And that means the platforms themselves have to sell space to advertisers in order to pay all the employees who work at TikTok and Instagram. So if you pay for a service, you can sometimes avoid the ads. So y'all, that is my rant on advertising. I am sure that I will revisit this topic. There's a lot more that I want to say, honestly, but this video was getting a little long. So I was like, all right, girl, let's wrap it up. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe. Those two things go a really long way to help a small channel like ours. And if you feel the call to share us with people in your lives, we also really, really appreciate that. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Come back every Monday for new videos.